Christmas by Nina Walter. Carolyn wanted just one thing for Christmas, a bright red woolly sweater to wear to school. Last year's sweater was worn and faded and had mended spots that showed. Besides, it was too small for her. She didn't like to walk beside her best friend Marion, who had a new blue sweater and a hat to match. Carolyn had wished and hinted and asked and even prayed for a new sweater. But now she just tried not to think about it, for her father was without a job after the mill had closed. They all say to come back after Christmas, he reported one morning after a week of job searching. I hope we can make the money last. We'll have to, Carolyn's mother said, and we'll have to postpone our own Christmas plans. She looked at Carolyn, and Carolyn knew she ought to answer that look. She ought to say, that will be all right. But she couldn't. She just hurried out of the house to join Marion, who was waiting at the gate to walk her to school. It'll be a terrible Christmas, she thought. For the first time in her life, there wouldn't be a single Christmas gift for her. What would she say when the other girls at school showed her their gifts? At school, Carolyn and Marion had joined the other students who were waiting for the last bell to ring. They were talking about what they hoped to get for Christmas: bicycles, sleds, radios, new clothes. Those whose fathers, like Carolyn's, had lost their jobs when the mill closed weren't saying much and looked as disappointed as she felt. When their teacher, Miss Dodson, called the class to order, she said a surprising thing. I couldn't help overhearing your plans for getting. Why don't you try giving Christmas for a change? We do give, Marion said. We always exchange gifts. I don't mean exchanging gifts with your family and friends, Miss Dodson explained. I mean doing something for somebody who needs it. Something that will be a surprise, a gift you give without expecting to get anything back. Everybody in the class liked the idea, and they made a list of people who they were going to surprise. Some decided to make or repair toys for small children. Some planned gifts or services for elderly people who lived alone. All of them would make their own Christmas cards to go with the gifts and list the services they intended to perform, such as sweeping sidewalks, stacking wood, or running vacuum cleaners. Miss Dodson let them use their art period for the Christmas cards. Carolyn and Marion worked on their cards together. I chose Susan Thompson, Marion said. You know, the 5-year-old girl who broke her arm. What are you going to do for Susan? Carolyn asked. I'm going to make some clothes for her doll and help her dress it. Marion replied, what are you going to do? I chose Mrs. Gleason, the old lady who lives next door to me, Carolyn said, but I don't know what to do for her. You could give her one of your books, Marion suggested. She doesn't read much, Carolyn answered. She just sits in her wheelchair and listens to her radio and crochets or knits. All the way home, Carolyn kept trying to think of something to do for her elderly neighbor. Mrs. Gleason was sitting in front of her window, as usual, and as usual, her knitting needles were flying. When she looked up and saw Carolyn, she waved, and Carolyn waved back. And right then, an idea popped into Carolyn's head. She thought about the pile of old magazines in the attic. When she was younger, she had enjoyed cutting pictures out of them. She remembered the needlework pages in the scrapbook she never used. Now I know what my gift will be, she said aloud, and hurried home to begin. Every day for a week, Carolyn spent some time in the attic cutting and pasting. At last, she had a scrapbook full of knitting and crochet patterns. I hope she likes it, she said as she showed her mother the book. I'm sure she will, her mother assured her. She's always borrowing patterns from other people. You found some lovely ones in those old magazines. On Christmas Eve, Carolyn wrapped her gift in some bright paper she had saved from last Christmas. She tied it with a cord she made by twisting red and green yarn together, and she slipped her Christmas card under the cord. Then she took the package to Mrs. Gleason. A present for me, the woman exclaimed. How lovely. I haven't had a present for ages. I wonder what it can be. Open it, Carolyn urged. I made it myself. When Mrs. Gleason saw what was in the package, she said, oh my, you've given me a wonderful gift. I can't thank you enough. If only there was something I could do for you. Oh no, Carolyn said. Our class made this a giving Christmas instead of a getting Christmas. I'd like to have a part in it. That's a good idea, Mrs. Gleason said. I'd like to have a part in it. She looked at Carolyn. You need a new sweater. That one is about worn out. I know, Carolyn murmured. I have a lot of red yarn left over from the brother and sister suits I knitted for Mrs. Blake's twins. Mrs. Gleason continued. How would you like to use it to make a sweater for yourself? I couldn't, Carolyn said. I don't know how. Mrs. Gleason smiled. If you come over after Christmas, I'll teach you to knit. Then you can make your own sweater. Would you like that? Oh, yes, Carolyn exclaimed. I'd love to learn how to knit. Will you really teach me? I'd love to, Mrs. Gleason said. It will be fun. And so Carolyn got a new sweater after all, and she had fun helping making herself. And for a surprise, Mrs. Gleason made her a red cap to go with it. Somebody want to pray?
Dear Lord, thank you for the gifts that you give us, and please help us to focus on giving and not getting. Amen.